Hey folks, welcome to Torah portion Behaaloscha, third Torah portion in the book of Bamidbar of Numbers. We are, sorry, the third portion. We are the
Third portion? What's the second portion? Yeah,
No, it's the second portion of the third Torah portion,
okay.
right? We had Bamidbar Nosai and now it's Behaaloscha. Okay?
Yeah.
We are in Bamidbar, Numbers chapter 8, verse number 1. Oops. I made a mistake here.
Chapter 8, verse
Yes,
15.
no, yes, I didn't go to the next day, right? Yes, verse number 15, not verse number 1. That was yesterday. I didn't move forward yet. Just moved forward. Okay, we're continuing with the Levites, and they are the substitute of the firstborn, as we've learned. Well, we'll see again today. Okay. And afterwards, after the initiation that we spoke about yesterday, they had to bring offerings. The firstborn had to put their hands on the Levites to exchange them for the Levites. Then there had to be a tenufa, a waving of each Levite. And so afterwards, Yavoya Levim, they shall come, the Levites, Lavite, to serve as Oyel Mahid in the tent of meeting, the Taharta Oisam, and you shall cleanse them, the Nafta Oisam Tenufa, and you shall lift them as a waving. Okay. So why is all this being done? Right? This cleansing, this waving, nisunim, given. Right? They're wholly given over, in other words, right? The fact that it's repeated, well, we'll see Rashi will pick up on it. Hema, they, li, to me, they're given over to me. Mitoich b'nei Israel, from amongst of the children of Israel. Tachas, they are in the stead of Pitras kol rechem. The Pitras means the opening of the womb of every firstborn, call me b'nei Israel, all from the children of Israel. The kachta oisamli, and I have taken them for myself. Right? In other words, from the firstborn, that was initially meant to be the ones who would do the divine service. Right? But they're no longer. Right? So in the Nisunim, Rashi says in verse 16, they're given. Nisunim lamasa, what is the repetition implies, are given for carrying, Nisunim lashir, and they're given for song, right? Because that's what the Levites, the two basic things that they do. They carry the Mishkan and all of the implements, everything, right? The three families have different jobs to do, right? The Kahas, Gershon, Merari. And so they're given over for the carrying of the Mishkan, and at the same time, also for the singing, which accompanies the offerings that the Kohanim engage in. Titras Rashi, first issue, psichas, means which opens. Opening of the womb, the first opening of the womb, right, is the firstborn. That's right. Verse 17. So what is it about the Kohanim? The firstborn rather. So we're saying that the Levim are in the stead of the firstborn. So what is it about the firstborn? So he continues the verse and says in 17, Kili, because to me, for me, in other words, God is saying for me, Kol Bechor is every firstborn in Bnei Israel of the children of Israel. Ba'adama Behema, from man to animal, right? They belong to me. B'yoyim ha'kaisi. Why? Because on the day that I had smitten kol b'chor be'eretz Mitzrayim, every firstborn in the land of Egypt, I sanctified them for myself. So they became sanctified when I smote in the 10th plague the firstborn Egyptian. Rashi, Kili kol b'chor, because every firstborn belongs to me. Shali hayu abacheres, the firstborn were mine. B'kavadin, meaning by on the standard of justice, they belong to me. Shegananti aleim, because I shield them. Bein b'chor Mitzrayim, from amongst the firstborn of the Egyptian. V'lakachti yosam li, and I took them onto me. Ad sheto be'egel, until they erred with the golden calf. But now, I took the Levites in their stead. Okay? So the verse continues. Rashi actually introduced that, the concurrence of the next verse, 18 rather. And I took the Levites in the stead of the firstborn of the children of Israel. 19. And I gave the Levites given over to Aaron of Levanav and to his sons from the midst of the children of Israel to serve to serve the service of the children of Israel in the tent of meeting. Right, and to bring an atonement al bnei Israel for the children of Israel. And there should not be for the children in Israel a negev, means an affliction. Actually, negev would be more of a plague. Right, begeshes, when the children were coming close of the children of Israel, to the sanctuary. Right. Remember, we learned this already, this idea, right? Let's see what Rashi has to tell us in 19. Vetna, and I gave them the the Levites. Chamisha pam. So Rashi says Chamisha pam ne'ema b'nei Yisrael b'mikra zeh. It says the children of Israel here 5 times in the verse. Look at well, the verse is, and it doesn't mean in the one verse. Right, we're in verse 19. Bnei Israel 1 time, Bnei Israel 2nd time, 3 times, 4 times. Yeah, actually, it's in the one verse. I'm sorry. In the one verse. Yeah, previously it also said it many times. In this one verse, it says the Bnei Israel, children of Israel, 5 times. To make it known their dearness to God. Shenichbelu askarasehem, for mention of them by name is stated repeatedly. B'mikra echad, in one single verse. Kamina chamisha chamushe Torah, in accordance to the 5 books of Moses. Kach re'isi b'beishis Rabbah. So I've seen interpreted in the Beishis Rabbah. I know is they're dear, like the 5 books of Moses, or I don't know if it actually means like it. In accordance to. In other words, because what are we talking about here? We're talking about choosing the Levites. So you might think there's a rejection to the Bnei Israel. No, they're mentioned here 5 times to bring out that they're not being rejected, just that they're getting something more, or they have something greater, or to fulfill. But it's not a rejection. That's what it means to say. Below Bnei Israel Negev, and well, it's a replacement for the firstborn, right? But where is the Bnei Israel in all of this, right? Because it's from the midst of the Bnei Israel. So like they're chosen. Does that mean a rejection of Bnei Israel? So that's why it's repeated 5 times to tell us it's not a rejection. Lo yeh b'minei Israel negev, and there should not be a plague amongst the children of Israel. Shelo yitztarochu legeshes el hakodesh, so that they should not need to approach the sanctuary. She'im yigoshu, because if they will approach yeh negev, there will be a plague. Don't think because they were chosen, therefore there will not be any kind of plague amongst the children of Israel. No, because they will not come close, there won't be a plague. Okay. Verse 20. Yas Moshe, and Moshe did, the Aaron, the Choladas ben Israel, and all of the congregation, the entire congregation of Ben Israel, the Levim, they did this to the Levim. In accordance to everything that God commanded. It's Moshe, the Levim, to Moshe, for in regard to the Levites. Cain also Lahem and Israel, so did the children of Israel do. Right? V'yas Moshe v'Aaron and v'chol adas, and Moshe and Aaron and the entire congregation. Moshe midam v'Aaron hinifam. So what does it mean over here? Moshe presented them, the Levites, and Aaron, he lifted them up. Israel samchus yideihem, and the Israelites lifted up their hands. So, in other words, they all had something that they had to do in this inauguration of the Levites, right? Moshe stood them up before Aaron. Aaron lifted them up, and every Jew put his hands on the Levite. Right? That was something we learned earlier, or yesterday. And now the verse is just saying that everybody did what they were supposed to do. Verse 21. V'yischatu alavim, and the Levites cleansed themselves. V'yichabsus bigdehem, they washed their clothes. V'yonef Aaron esam, and Aaron lifted them and waved them. Oisam tnufa lifnei Hashem, a waving before God. V'yichaper aleim Aaron letaharam, and Aaron atoned for them to cleanse them. And after all of this, Bo Levim, the Levites came, Lavai, to serve as Avedis, their service, but Ayal Mayid, in the tent of meeting, Lifnei Aaron, before Aaron, Lifnei Banav, and before his sons, right, who are the Kohanim, Kashet Tziva Hashem, as Hashem commanded, as Moshe to Moshe, Ala Levim, Kinal Sulahem, so he commanded concerning the Levites, so they did. Rashi kasher tziva kinasu, as they were commanded, so they did. Lahagich sheva ha'osim v'nase v'hem she'echa mehem lo yikev. Why is this written over here? To extol that those who performed this procedure, this rite, and those upon whom it was performed, none of them objected. Everybody did it. Okay. So that's all the prep. This is what made them into Levites, right? All of this. Now, Vidavar Hashem el Moshe Lemor, and Hashem spoke to Moshe, saying, Zois Hasher Levim. This is for the Levites. This is the rule concerning them. Miben chamesh ve'esrim shana v'mayla, from 25 years and upwards, they should come and to enter in the army. Here means the service. In the work of Oyel Moyed, of the Oyel Moyed, right? Tzva Haganah li Israel. Right, that's a tzahal. Tzahal is an acronym. Tzva, army. Lahagana, for the protection, the defense of Israel, of Israel. Israel, right? 24. So you see anything here that's bothersome? Didn't we always say it was from 30 years old that they came to do the service? Now it says 25. I only said that. Oh, I only said that out of place because I knew it. Because I knew that. But that's where do we know it from? Here, this verse. Right? Let's see Rashi. Zois Hashem Levim. In other words, without this verse, you wouldn't know it. Right? There's a source for it. I knew the source already. Zois Hashem Levim, and this shall apply to the Levites. Shanim Paislim Bahem. In other words, years of age disqualify them, but physical blemish do not disqualify them. Because here we're speaking about age. Kohanim who do the service, physical blemish disqualifies them, right? But not for the Levites. Zois Levim. This is the law, the rule for the Levim. Years, but not physical blemish. They can have a physical blemish and they could serve, right? But not Kohanim. Miben Chamesh Esrim, from 25 years. Elsewhere it says, Ben Shlishim Shana, from 30 years it says, right? We had in chapter 4, verse 3. Hakate says, how can that be? From 25 years, the Levite comes to study the laws of the temple service, and he learns for 5 years. And from 30 years, then he begins to serve. Mikan, we learn from here the Talmud for regarding a student, any student of Torah, who does not see success in his study for 5 years, he won't see any sign of success. Take 5 years to study, right? After 5 years, if you don't see success, then go to business. Huh?
Much failure.
That you don't, I mean, how do you judge that? You're not getting it. You're not, it's not penetrating, whatever. The exact precision in that's a good question. Here it doesn't provide the answer, but,
Would it be that the person doesn't absorb and, like change the dots and all that? Because
I hear it means, I don't think it means character so much as it means the teachings.
Yeah, but we're not talking about knowledge here. I mean, of course.
No, here means no. Here means knowledge, because if the Levite was studying for 5 years and he was a very refined person but doesn't know what to do, guess what? He can't do it. Right? He's got to know the law. He's got to know what to do. He's got to learn it. So if he doesn't know it, right? So we're talking about practical.
Yeah, exactly.
Practical as opposed to spiritually being evolved, right? That's what we're talking about. Okay. Okay. That was 25. Now we go to, so 24. Now we go to 25. Ben Chamishim Shana, and from 50 years old, Yashuv, he shall return mitzvah avodah from the legion of work. He should not work anymore. Rashi in 25. What does this mean? He should no longer work. It means carrying on his shoulder. But he does return the locking of the gates of the temple, and to sing, and to load the wagons. And this is what is meant by the phrase. The Sheri says Echab. Yeah, according to Targum, Sheres Echav, Imachoi, with his brother Kitargumai, as Onkelos explains it. So what it means is they can't do the heavy tasks, but the other things they could do. Right? That's what Rashi's saying, right? They could load wagons, but they can't carry heavy stuff. They could sing. Exactly. Okay, last verse. Yeah, 26. The Sheris Esecha, and he shall serve, minister his brothers, ba'oil mayid, in the tent of meeting, lishmor, to guard, mishmeres, the charge, to keep the charge, va'avoida lo yavoid, kacha, taseh levim b'mishmaroisam. So they shall not perform the service, they shall do for the Levites regarding their charge. Rashi, lishmor mishmeres, that they should keep the charge. What does that mean? What's the charge here? So to camp around the tent and to assemble and dismantle at a time of travel, right? Not to carry, but they can dismantle.
But you have to also protect the Israelites from.
Well, that's the camp around the tent. Yes. Yes, exactly. Yeah, they still continue doing that. Okay, let's see if we can see. Oh, let me get the Rebbe's Chumash. And let's see if there's something there to explain.
24 here. Online.
Oops. Okay. Hmm. No, nothing from today. Let's see. Okay. I think here.
There's a moment
If I could please ask, just
Sure.
because I missed this part, how were the Levium waves? Like they were physically picked up? Like,
Aaron was a strong guy.
did he just wave one of them or did he wave all of them? Like one after the other? And then he just waved one or he raised what, 20?
2,200.
Okay. All in one day?
Seems to be. I don't know.
So when everyone had to put their hands on the Levium, did that mean like every person had to touch every Levium, or was it just like they just had to touch, each one had to touch one?
That's a very good question. It's not, I don't have clarity on that.
Okay.
I don't think, Rashi didn't address, that was yesterday. And he didn't clarify exactly how it happened.
Okay.
I would imagine each one, that the truth, it had to be more than one that did them, right? Because there's only 2,200 Levites that are between 30 and 50, right? So, all the male Israelites that are from 20 to and up, I would imagine, how many that would be per Levite?
He gave their weight,
Hmm?
he understood their weight when he lifted them. This is like 220, this is 200,
I think he only looked at one at a time.
yeah, but he knew how much they weighed.
Yeah, so 272 people would have to put their hands on one Levite in order to have all 600,000. According to, if that's I don't know if that's the cheshbon. That's what it would seem. But
So how long did that ceremony take? It couldn't be, it had to be over a period of days.
it's a good question.
But the waving of the Levites was similar to the waving of the peace offering, or the.
Yeah, we have to look it up. The whole concept of waving is that you're drawing the godliness in all directions. This way,
Yeah.
this way.
Wow.
So it's a concept of drawing godliness, bringing it down. That's the concept, right? Because remember what's happening over here. They are now coming into a position
Yeah.
that is not really theirs inherently.
Yeah.
So it's in the firstborn inherently. So what needs to be done is to draw that divinity down into them, so it becomes part and parcel of them. So that's the the basic idea of what it means, the waving, right?
It's like sanctifying the Levites so they can do this.
Specifically, it's to draw down that sanctity.
From above to.
Right, that's the why concept of waving is that, right, it's to draw down. It's like lulav and esrog.
Yeah.
When we shake it, right? We shake the lulav and esrog, and we do it, we stand towards east.
Forward.
We go to the right, left, forward, up, down, and behind. What are you doing? You're drawing godliness and internalizing. That's what you go. You shake here, bring it to your heart, because you're internalizing the divinity that you're drawing down, right? That's why also the lulav always has to be, even when you're going down, you don't put the lulav down.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is drawing from above to bring it down. Right?
So the love is a
So it's the conduit to drawing divinity down into this world. And specifically lulav and esrog is to internalize it. So the idea of waving the Levite is to draw the divinity down into the Levite, right? Because they're not inherently holy. So now it's being brought into them, that holiness.
Okay. That said, needless to say, Aaron must have been a very strong man.
More than strong.
To be lifting up one.
Obviously,
Moses too, right?
when the Rebbe when he first became a Rebbe, so in the 50s, I don't know till when, somewhere in the early 60s, I think it was, when it came to Rosh Hashanah, the first day of Rosh Hashanah in the afternoon, you go to a body of water to do tashlich, right? You say tashlich. So they used to go in the first years to the botanical gardens. Used to march down Eastern Parkway. They say it was quite a scene, you know. It was Chabad was small then, so I don't know if it was 100 people or what exactly, marching down Eastern Parkway. One year they came to Botanical Gardens, and it was closed. It was like must have been a weekend or something like that. I don't know. I don't know why it was closed, but it was closed. The Rebbe closed, and it was a fence. The Rebbe was young then. He, was probably only like 58. He gave his siddur to, maybe it was Rabbi Groner, I don't remember, hold the siddur, and the Rebbe climbed the fence and hopped over the fence. Like a fence, it might have been, I don't know, 10 feet high or something like that. Like it was nothing. Like it was nothing. The Rebbe would, dollars, the Rebbe would stand for anywhere from 3 to 6 hours, right? And would not sit for a moment.
Arms would be very tired.
His arms then were not tired at all.
They should have been.
But Rabbi Groner afterwards would put ice on his arms. Afterwards. It had some kind of an effect. Point being is the strength, ultimately strength, anybody will tell you, in any sports or any activity that needs power, needs strength, where's the most important power you need to draw upon? Your brain, not your physical might, but your brain, right? You got to be in the zone. Otherwise, your brawn will not help anything.
Your will.
Your brain, which is rooted in your will, that you are so in other words, the brain power is what gives the capability. The strong will coupled with the brain power. So Aaron must have had that, definitely had that power, right?
Looks so proud of him.
Do you think the power the Rebbe had and the power of Aaron are sort of like equivalent? Not
Well, coming from the same place, let's put it that way.
Yeah.
It's coming from the same place. All right, folks, we'll see you in a few moments.
A lot.